Okay, you can see that what I've done is written down 4C, which deals with parts of an expression. So an expression can be lengthy with various components. They're only asking you to come to understand what you see in the total expression. So they're going to ask you to identify certain parts of the expression. So this expression shows some division, shows some multiplication, shows some subtraction, some addition. So it has one term and a second term. One term, a second term. 1, 2, 3 terms. 1, 2, 3 terms. Terms are separated by plus and minus. So this is one term, 2 terms, times 3, and a second term. So this is a quantity that has 2 terms. This is a quantity that has 2 terms. And the expression has 1 term, 2 terms, 3 terms, and another 2 terms in this quantity. So this is 1 term times another term. But within that term, it has addition. 9 plus 9 would be 18. So let's go through the questions that they're asking. Right here, they're asking, which of the following represents a quotient? Now, you know that a quotient deals with division. So all we have to do is look at that and see which term in this expression deals with division. And it's right here. That's the only one that deals with division. So the next one, which we have, it says, which of the following describes P over N? Now you know that's division. The choices are A, factor, B, quotient, C, difference, D, product. A factor means multiplication, difference means subtraction, and a product means multiplication. So the only one that fits us is B, which is a quotient. So that's a quotient. That will be our answer. The next one, which is number 3 up there, says, which of the following describes 5M? 5M is right here. So it is multiplication, and it's also the 3rd term in this expression. So we look at our possible answers. The choices are factor, coefficient, sum, and product. Now, had they asked us what does 5 represent, we could have said coefficient. But they said, which one describes 5M? 5M is a product of 5 multiplied by M. So these are not that difficult. They're actually asking you to come to understand the vocabulary. So the next one, this will go fast. So I have 3 terms. 5 squared, 5x squared is 1 term, 9x is a 2nd term, and 15 is a 3rd term. So what are they asking me? Which of the following represents a term from the expression given? So our answers are 9x, x squared, x, and 5. So they said 9x, is that a term? Or is x squared by itself a term? Or is 5 a term? No, the only one that's a term is 9x. That's the 2nd term. Okay, the next one says, which is here, which of the following represents a coefficient? Well, a coefficient, you know, is multiplication. It's usually going to be a whole number that's in front of a variable. So the only one that's a coefficient here is number 2. It's the first term, and the first factor is number 2. That's a coefficient. Let's see what the next one is asking us. So here I have a quantity that has 2 terms, a coefficient, and a subtraction. So what do they want to know? Which of the following represents a sum from the expression? Well, the only one that represents a sum is inside the parentheses because there's a plus sign. So 12x squared plus 7x represents a sum. If they had asked us for a coefficient, we would have said 3. If they asked for a difference, which you know means subtraction, we would have said 17. So let's see what else they have in store for us. So let's look at this, since it's on the page I have. So the question is, which of the following describes 3a? 3a is right here. 3a, the best we can see is the middle term of this expression that has 3 terms. So the possible choices are sum, you know it's not sum, term, yes, factor, 3 could be a factor, or a could be a factor, but not 3a, or quotient, there's no division, so it can't be that. So let's look at the 2 that we skipped somehow. I looked over them, then we'll stop this. So this one says, which of the following describes 9 plus 9? 9 plus 9 we know is addition, so it's a sum. It's a logical thing. So the choices are difference, quotient, product, sum. So 9 plus 9, because of the plus sign, we know is a sum. Final one, here we go. Which of the following describes the number 6 in the expression? 6 could be a factor or a coefficient. That's all it could be. Because it's a factor of this. So 13 plus 3 is going to be 16. It's going to be multiplied by 6. So 6 is going to be a factor or a coefficient. The only reason it doesn't really qualify as a coefficient because there's no letter. If there was a variable, that would make it a coefficient. But in this case, it's just a whole number multiplied by another whole number. So we'll say it's a factor. So our choices are A, quotient, B, product, C, factor, and D, sum. So this is a factor. Had this been a letter X, it would have made it suitable to say it's a coefficient. So that's 8 minutes, so we'll stop there and we'll move to 4D, which is evaluating expressions. So I'll clean this off and we'll come back.